Happy Father's Day. So we are today celebrating our own fathers and all of the fathers who may be present here today. And not just biological fathers, but really anyone who stepped into that role of nurturing and guiding and loving and, bringing forth into the world a new generation, right? So whether you are a father or a grandfather or an uncle or a teacher or a mentor or simply the presence of divine masculine love and action, we're honoring you. And just to be clear, so unity recognizes that each person has both the divine masculine and divine feminine aspects, regardless of gender. We have it both. And I feel like that divine masculine energy is like fierce compassion. Fierce compassion. It's the courage to stand strong and also to be gentle. To be both a protector and a nurturer. Both a boundary setter and a peacemaker, right? So it kind of includes all of that, a beautiful paradox, right? That dichotomy, bringing that both together. Now, like my husband, unfortunately, I grew up without a father. My dad died before I turned 6, so I don't have a lot of memories of him. But there are some poignant memories of just kind of simply being together, just connection, just playing simple games with me, which are just precious memories. But, he was from a generation that believed that women raise the children. The wives do that, right? And most of my friends were kind of from those same families. They're sort of more hands-on. Thank God times have changed. Thank God that it's now considered normal for, fathers to be equally active parents with mothers. And so it really wasn't until I was an adult did I witness effective fathering. And it was really my best friend when she had children. And she had children much like a decade before I did. And her husband is a really good father. And I witnessed him one day take this really difficult situation with a really difficult 5-year-old who was just not having it. She was just rebelling against everything. And I thought, oh, God, maybe it's time for me to leave. But then I saw him sit her down and, just spend a moment being present together. And he talked to her in a way, I don't know what he said. It was just whatever was necessary at the moment. He was firm, but also really loving. And it took a while, but after some time, she calmed down and really kind of looked like she was hearing him. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. That's dad power, So since then, I've seen my husband do a similar thing on occasion with our kids. And I have to say, probably more as they have grown up, and yes, they still have meltdowns. But I think it's his ability to really ignite that fire, that passion within them, and to find a path for them to express those gifts that stands out the most for me. The lamplighter. Yeah. So, as I said, the divine masculine is somehow finding that balance between love and law, between structure and freedom. right? Somehow finding that balance. It's when a father teaches a child to use their words, right? To express their feelings, to reach out and include a child that maybe is feeling left out, to be able to spot the difference between right and wrong, and then to forgive others and themselves when they get that confused. That's the power of the divine masculine in action. Now, of course, no father is perfect, right? Fathers are not perfect. There is no father that's perfect. But it's not about perfection. It's about presence. And it is not about knowing all the answers. It's about just showing up with an open heart. Just showing up with an open heart. So on a spiritual level, to parent a child, really, mothers and fathers, to parent a child is to be an example of divine love in action. To teach our children how to love, how to be kind, how to have compassion, how to see the divine in others and themselves. Yeah. And, kids are, of course, born naturally as an emanation of divine love and light. We're all innocent. We're born innocent beings of love and light. But they don't automatically know how to express that love wisely. And they learn by watching us. It's a scary thought. They learn by watching how we deal with pressure and pain, and how we talk about others that are different than us, and how we forgive others or not, and how we admit our own mistakes, and how we offer grace to ourselves when we forget. They learn, right? This is how they are taught what love looks like. And love can also look like setting boundaries, right? Enforcing the consequences of their actions. So I read a story recently about a boy who didn't have a father, grew up without a father, and he found someone in his life who really became a mentor and a dad when he needed it the most. And I'm just going to read this because it's short and poignant, I think. So he says, growing up, I was an immature, angry kid with no father. That is until I met Dennis Wilson, says Davidson Hosty. Wilson coached Hosty's varsity high school basketball team, but he says he was so much more than a coach, acting as a mentor and father figure to many of the boys. This included being tough when they needed it. He says, I remember one practice I mouthed off, and he told me I could leave if I didn't like it. And I threw my jersey down and stormed out. And then the next day, once I calmed down, he taught me that it's a good thing for men to have emotions. It's a good thing for men to have emotions and express them, but that I couldn't let them control me. That was a real turning point for me. So Wilson stayed a part of his life long after Hosty graduated from high school, encouraging and supporting him through earning both a bachelor's and a master's degree from Salem State, and then getting his dream job in academics. Coach Wilson still calls and checks in on me all the time, he says. He has been instrumental in everything I have accomplished. Even though we may not share blood, he is a father to me. He calls me his son, and I consider it a great honor to be his son. the power of being a mentor to a young child, and just being present and saying some words of wisdom and just knowing that they're loved, that they belong, that they're included, can make such a difference in a child's life. So now, of course, all of our fathers have, different skill sets, right? They're proficient in some things and not others. Some fathers are really good problem solvers. And other fathers really encourage their children to find their own solutions. Some fathers are really good listeners, and other fathers, just know how to explain well. Maybe can help you with your homework. Some fathers help develop children's skill and ability, or help them find a path that they can share and express who they are, that lamplighter. And some fathers, they're more hands-off and trust that their children are going to find their own path. So I invite you now to just think for a moment about what your father was good at. What was his fathering abilities? Just take a moment and think about where he shined his light, where he was, skilled at helping you become who you are. And maybe not so much. I believe that we all get the fathers that that we need for our soul's growth. That we all get the fathers we need for our soul's growth. Or in my case, a mother who played both roles as best as she could. Right? And for some of us, our journey is to learn forgiveness, to forgive an imperfect father. Right? And like me, to learn to heal the wounds of not having one. Maybe for some, it's the journey of mastering the understanding that we all do the best we possibly can with the consciousness we have at the time. And to be compassionate, to master compassion. Maybe that's your path. And boy, Lord knows we need some more compassion in this world. More understanding. More love. Don't we? Yeah. And that begins in the sacred space of a home. In the arms of a parent. In the words of a mentor. In how we adults live our lives every day as examples, And as people on a spiritual path, part of our journey is to reflect on the legacy that we leave. Not just through our accomplishments, but through the love that we share, the kindness that we give. The values that we pass down. And whenever we can help a child connect in their heart and share their love and empathy, and to have empathy, and to respect our planet, then we have really made a big impact that can ripple out for generations. So today, we want to embrace with gratitude all fathers and father figures. And we want to celebrate those who really help a child express courageous love. To express love courageously by being an example and by being the best they possibly can, right? With the consciousness they have at the moment, as we all do, the best we possibly can with the consciousness we have at the moment. And maybe today, when we think about our fathers, maybe we can offer a little more forgiveness for their mistakes. And maybe a little more gratitude for what they did bring us, how they did share their presence, who they were with us, what they brought us. And if you are currently in that role, that sacred role of nurturer, raising children, then may you know that every hug you give, every time you spend present with your child, every loving boundary that you set, every moment that you offer grace, that is a sacred act. That is a sacred act, and we all appreciate it. So, happy Father's Day. Thank you for being love in action. Thank you for being love in action. Yeah. Love in action.
Hi, it's Reverend Victoria here. I'm at Unity Center of Peace with our house band, Bright Matter.
Hello.
Yeah, and if this video has inspired you or empowered you or opened your heart, opened your consciousness, or even just given you hope, we ask that you support what we're doing here by making a donation today, going to unitychapelhill.org or clicking the link below. And we thank you.
Thank
Thank you.